Hi guys, this is Cheese. Today I'm going to talk about the different templates we use as a business analyst. Either you are using a different project methodology, either it's agile or waterfall or hybrid. In my organization, we use both, so hybrid. So depending on the project or the department you're working for. Let me just go straight because I'm short of time. Now, the different templates we use as business analysts: business case template. Business case template is to justify the reason for the project. So when there's a request or when there's a project or an initiative, your business case needs to justify the reason why this project or the initiative should be taken. And this business case template consist of the problem statement, the options considered, the cost benefit analysis, your risk recommended solution. And this particular template, who prepares it is a business analyst. You prepare it with others, with the people that has brought the initiative or the problem statement, and then it's been shared or presented to the leadership teams or sponsors just to secure funding. Now we also have the stakeholder register, or you call it RACI matrix. The stakeholder register is a template that we use to record the stakeholders you will be speaking to during the period of the project. All you need to record is to identify and track the stakeholders and their roles, the stakeholder names, their roles, their influence, their interests, and their communication needs. Because there are some stakeholders that you need to weigh high in terms of their influence, if they are the ones that needs to influence other the leadership team for certain things to move on, for the project to move on. Yes, you weigh them based on their levels. Also, the stakeholders that want you to communicate with them via emails only, or you just have a conversation one-to-one, or process flow and the rest. You need to jot down their communication needs. And then we also have the requirement document. Now, the requirement document, we have BRD, business requirement document. In my organization, BRD. Inside the BRD, we have the functional requirement, the non-functional requirement, and also we've got the user story and acceptance criteria. And also, I think these are the three things that we have in our BRD. So the BRD can be wide. Business requirement document can be wide. Now, mind you, BRD can be used only because basically BRD, business requirement documents, as the word sounds, is to capture the business leads, high level of the business. So it's got the business objective, the business scope, the high level requirement, the risk, and the success criteria. What can you tell that this is the reason, or this is the success of the business? And then it's shared with the executive or the business sponsors for them to validate, does this align with the organization values, the organization needs, and so now we have the functional requirement under the requirement document. Is also a template that we use. Now, the functional requirement template can also be called a system requirement specification, SRS. Now, this contains the detail, break down details of how the system should function and making sure that it meets the business needs, use case, or we can use process flow, data models, wireframes, functional and non-functional requirement. This is the thing you say, as just laying the functional, non-functional requirement. Remember, there's difference between functional and non-functional requirement. The non-functional requirement focuses on the security, like a phone. Now, the functional requirement, the phone should be able to snap a photo, but the non-functional requirement is how fast, when you press the button, how fast does it snap the photo. That's the non-functional requirement. The efficiency, the security, the speed at which things happen, the quickness, how quick that happens. Now, we also have the user stories and acceptance criteria is also a template to be used. Now, depending on your organization, there should be basic ones there. You can check that. Now, user stories, like I said, you capture the requirements from the user's perspective. Yeah, as a user, I want to, so that then the same thing with the acceptance criteria. Process document, you also that have that one template. Now it depends. In our company or in our organization or in my department, we don't have a specific template for process, documentation, but we can just create a process map. So now process documentation may not be a template, but it's just you having a document for that, having a process map of the workflows, visual representation of the current as is and the to be state. Then, it's just general process flow of the project, the current state of the project, the process flow, and the to be state, the process flow. So that's another documentation that you can use. We also have data or information model. That also can be a document, a template or not. It must not be a template. If you want to, you can, depending on the department or depending on the organization, but it's also a documentation that we use as business analysts. You define the structure and the flow of data. So if there's an integration between, for example, if there's an integration between I don't know what to give now. My head is just blank. But if there's an integration between two platforms, you need to have a data flow of how it works or how the data flows from left to right. So with that one, you have like maybe data dictionaries, data mapping document, it's just to guide developers or data teams and to ensure data consistency. We have a traceability metrics that's very important as a business analyst. Project managers, we use that a lot, just to track your requirements, the requirement that you've gathered and the developers are working, just to track the requirements across the project life cycle. It contains the requirement ID, the source, the design reference, the test case, and the status to say, does it pass? Is it successful? When you test it and say, does it meet the requirement? Does it work? If it doesn't work, if it needs changes, you put that. So that's the traceability metrics. We also have a change request as well. So if there is a change, like maybe the requester or the business say, they want ABC to now be changed to DCF, this one needs some impact analysis or impact assessments. So because of that, we have a change request form or template. That way you document the requested change and they assess the impact. Is it high? Is it low? Is it medium? And you provide a change description, the rationale behind the change, the impact, like what's the scope behind the change, is there any cause, what's the timeline, the decision. So that's another one. We have the test documentation. So when you do your test case of the project that you're doing, the test case or the UAT, user acceptance test plan, ensure that the solution meets the requirement. We also have the report and dashboard specification. Now, it's not all business analysts that do that, but it's not a must, depending. If there's a data analyst that will do that, that's fine, or anyone that is experienced doing that, that's fine. But this particular report and dashboard specification is defining the requirement for analytical team or the report and reporting solution. So it's like KPIs, data sources, filters, layouts, frequency. So it's to guide the BI team, the business intelligence team, in developing the dashboard. So this is not basically used by business analysts, but depending on the organization you're working for. Lessons learned, like post implementation review, that template also is available in my organization. We do that. There's a template for that. It's just to capture the success, the challenges, the improvements for future project, and then you're sharing it with your PMO, that's the, or your BA community. If there's a community of practice, you share what's your lessons learned with your last project, so that we see how we can improve things. That's basic template we use so far. I can't think of something else. I know there's something called project vision and project charter. I've used that once, but that defines a high level goal, the objective, the scope, the stakeholders. It's just defines the vision statement of that project, the objective, the high level, the who are the stakeholders that so this is at this document is used at the early stage, at the early stage of the project, just to see if it aligns and if we are setting the direction of how we go. Now these are the template I have said so far. I don't know if you've got any more that you can add, but I hope you learn from this. And if you want us to go into details of any other of any of this template that I have listed, you can let me know. Thank you very much now. Bye bye.